If you watched my episode from yesterday, you know I made picks for the next LIV Golf tournament in Bedminster, and I woke up to this message this morning. You were right about Cockrack, which also meant I was wrong about Ricky Fowler. I think almost everyone, except for apparently this No Laying Up podcast, had the inside scoop that it was going to actually be Charles Howell III. Charles Howell III is a strange choice, but he was the key to making me realize that the PGA Tour, in essence, is also an invitational. If you consider the LIV Golf Tour an invitational and you try to fault it for being an invitational, well, the PGA Tour, if you apply the same rules, is also essentially an invitational. The first time Eddie Pepperell popped up on my radar is when he did well in a British Open. It was the 147th Open Championship, which was just a few years ago. It was in 2018. He finished tied for 6th, and at that point, he was 57th in the world. In the 2019 Players Championship, he finished tied for 3rd and was ranked 36th in the world, and his high apparently was 33rd in the world. The guy's hilarious. I appreciated his interviews, and he seemed like a rising star. Before you listen to him discuss Henrik Stenson's leaving the Ryder Cup captain position for the European Tour, remember now his world position is 619th, so maybe his comments come from a place of pain.
I'm not surprised at all. Who's gone? They're all stalwarts of this tour. They're stalwarts of the Ryder Cup, and they've all gone. So I'm not surprised. It's a shame, and I think I hoped.
I don't speak European, but I can tell from the look on his face that he wishes his game didn't start tanking for a few years later. If he still had that top 40 in the world ranking, he would definitely be on the LIV Golf Tour right now, hamming it up with Lee Westwood and Ian Poulter and doing some kind of European-style tussling with Henrik Stenson, all pumped up that they're just living the dream. But now he's somewhere down at 600 plus in the world, and,
I hoped 6 months ago that none of this would happen, but it's happened, and clearly, to a person, I think they all regard their own back pocket to a higher degree than anything else. And
these are all tournaments that Eddie has recently played in back to back to back to back. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Dubai. It shows he has no objection to playing in the Middle East. And that's why I think he would have been perfect for the LIV Tour if his official world golf ranking, again, wasn't in the 600s.
That's fine. Say it. It's fine. There's not a problem with that. But it's disappointing, and I thought that the sport had more, and the Ryder Cups, etc., had much more to offer than simple, monetary reward for playing a new tour that doesn't offer up much, as far as I can tell, certainly competitively. So,
Eddie, there are 600 plus guys ranked higher than you in the official world golf ranking. They do offer up a lot competitively. Doesn't make any sense.
I'm not surprised, but it is a shame, and I hope that the Ryder Cup can. Well, the Ryder Cup will move beyond it. The Ryder Cup's bigger than any, with all due respect to Henrik or Poulter or whoever it is. The Ryder Cup's a bigger entity and will always be a bigger entity than any individual, and it's important that we remember that.
What we also have to remember is that 80% of the European Ryder Cup team highlight reels have to be deleted or heavily edited. Otherwise, it's just a promo video for LIV Golf. Rick Shields is another English guy I have problem believing. Do you really think that Brooks Koepka, after making $100+ million going to the LIV Golf Tour, is really going to throw you out of a VIP section? That section was reserved for golfers who can break 75. When Henrik Stenson got booted from his position, Ryder Cup Europe put out this whole official statement pretty much blaming him, while Henrik Stenson, on the other hand, indicates that he had made specific arrangements with LIV Golf, who has been supportive of my role as captain, to ensure I could fulfill the obligations of the captaincy. This is all I have on Henrik Stenson right now, but definitely this will become a future episode when we're able to break down who was really at fault, and I'm betting that it was the DP World Tour just saying, Henrik, get out of here, and Henrik saying, listen, I can still do this. Let me be the captain. And this brings us to Charles Howell III, world number 173. He finished tied for 18th in the Memorial Tournament. How did he even get into the Memorial Tournament with such a low official world golf ranking? That's the kicker. And the week prior to the Memorial Tournament, Charles Howell III was ranked 205 in the world. Once I saw that and realizing that the Memorial Tournament wasn't like the Travelers or the Bermuda or Barracuda or other fast ocean fish that you don't want to wear a shiny watch in the water, otherwise it'll bite your fingers off. At that point, I went into a deep dive as to how do you get into the Memorial Golf Tournament. Let's get this out of the way first. If you think that because there are Monday qualifiers for PGA Tour events, that makes these things very open and not invitational in nature, well then look, typically there are 4 spots for Monday qualifying, and the average tournament size is either 132, 144, or 156 players. So a tiny fraction of the spots are actually granted for Monday qualifying. Not that open in nature, and more importantly, Charles Howell III didn't Monday qualify to get into that Memorial Golf Tournament with a world ranking of 205. The PGA Tour uses a standardized system for determining event fields based off the current season's priority rankings, while also including additional exemption and qualifying categories. And at the bottom, you can see that one of the categories is former winners of the Memorial Tournament. A few of the categories are member of the most recent U.S. Ryder Cup team, last year British amateur champion, money list leaders from international tours, sponsors exemption, Korn Ferry Tour finals. You get the point. There's a lot of different ways to earn your way into the Memorial Golf Tournament field. But there's also a way you can just be invited. You just get an unrestricted sponsors exemption, and that's how Charles Howell III got into the tournament. So for him, it was an invitational. If the LIV Tour focuses on inviting players who would qualify under the criterion of, for example, the Memorial Golf Tournament, what's the big difference between it and the PGA Tour? I mean, Dustin Johnson has over 20 wins. He's like a lifetime member on the PGA Tour. He should be able to play it wherever he wants. The Masters, you can play till you're like 65. The British Open, you can play till you're 60. These LIV Golf Tour players, a lot of them have won the British Open or the Masters. They got those tournaments to play. If you've won the Memorial in the past, you get a bunch of years to play. Look at the 2021 to 2022 priority ranking. It's very informative as to the tour eligibility categories, namely that Gary Player and Jack Nicklaus and Bobby Nichols are still eligible. Yes, Lee Trevino is also still eligible because if you won the U.S. Open or the PGA Championship prior to 1970, I guess you can just keep playing. So again, Gary Player, Lee Trevino, and Jack Nicklaus are still eligible as per this criterion to play in the Memorial Golf Tournament. All this really shows is that your field is somewhat determined by the criterion you set, and that's up to you. So why can't the LIV Golf Tour have its own criterion set in terms of past major winners and certain official world golf ranking points, etc.? It isn't just an invitational where people like Eddie Pepperell, number 619 in the world, can just show up and get in. But the PGA Tour likewise isn't as open as you think it is when there's only 4 Monday spots and then you have all these other random ways to qualify. It's the people at top who determine who make it in, and in that way somewhat invite you. But if you don't get in, like Charles Howell III in the past, you can still just get an unrestricted sponsors exemption, which is an invite.